One take.
Can we do that one, Tim? Hey, nah, man, it's good. It's good to be back, man.
Yeah,
it's good to be back. I just want to
We had to do a little winter break.
absolutely, man. I want to break, and just kind of the last polishing of me, getting back to myself.
Yeah,
Getting back to who I am.
Yeah.
That's what it was, man. Sometimes, I always equate life like sports, where sports meets life, man. And I just feel like I was in my fourth quarter of that season.
Yeah.
It was time. It was time to get up. It was time to overcome. It was time to be courageous. It was time to do the things that I know that I was capable of doing. And that's being a great father, being a great provider, and just getting life back, man. Sometimes life can get so it's hard, but it's simple when you look at it from the vantage point of the little things are the things that create the biggest effect. The little things are the things that creates the biggest effect when you really look at them the right way. I've been spending time with my children.
Yeah, yeah.
Spending time with my friends.
Yeah.
I'm being excited about a ball game that's coming on. You know what I mean? Yeah. Looking forward to relaxing, going to work, working hard every day. You know what I mean? Earning something. Feeling like I contributed to society. Just the little things. I look at those things that people do every day as routine now, and now they are full of meaning. It's like almost a big grape. Oops, I cussed. I said I was gonna cuss tonight, but I didn't mean to. But it's like a big grape. Like it's like something that life is filled up for me. You know what I mean? So experiences. Every time I look at something, I'm able to analyze it and thank God for it, and really just understand that, it could have been another way. Yeah. It's been a year, my guy.
Absolutely.
It's been a year, man. Yeah. It's been a year of just obstacles and a learning training ground for me. Yeah. I think that's important to just learn. No losses, just learn. And I learned, and the thing is, I'm gonna keep learning.
You mentioned a couple things, and one of the things I like to say is, like, whenever you run in a race, whenever you're walking a path, whenever you're traveling a journey, the obstacles are something that was like, oh my gosh, I got to get through that. But it reminds you to do the little things.
Absolutely.
Because when you're coming up on a roadblock, and it's like, dang, well, how am I going to navigate this? I'm not going to turn all the way back. So how am I going to get around this roadblock? It puts you in a place where you have to, you really have to hone in on yourself, and you have to get back to let me gather myself again, and let me do some critical things.
Yeah.
Let me do the little things that I would have typically done to be able to get through this situation. Because sometimes we can't just mow our way through it. So it just allows you and puts you back in position to be able to do the little things that will automatically get you back on track. Because, if you're mowing your yard and you're going back and forth. If you're off by a quarter centimeter, by the time you get 100 yards, you're way off.
Absolutely.
And so it just reminds you to just get a little bit, just do the little things to get you right back on track. You get through those obstacles. You start doing those small things. You become more athletic. You become more energetic, and you become better.
Yeah. The biggest quest for me here was my adaptability.
Yeah.
My ability because life will always happen to you.
Absolutely.
It is inevitable. See, it's not a matter of if, it's when. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter who you are and what age you are. Life will become an enemy to you. Mm-hmm. It will test you. It will happen to you. It will give you a conundrum. You can just be going about, because I was just going about my life. You just go about your life every day, and you just don't know when that obstacle comes.
What's funny is when you're saying that, I remember, I want to say it was probably 2009. Mm-hmm. I had been recently married. I had just purchased a home. Mm-hmm. We had just recently purchased a home, and everything was going good. I mean, I had a great career. I had a couple of nice cars. I was about to buy me another car, and everything was going good. And I just was like, man, this is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, no adversity. Like, this thing easy. This gonna rock. I was like, oh, I appreciate the smooth ride. Said, You ain't seen nothing yet. I really feel like I remember hearing God say, "You ain't seen nothing yet." And brother, from 2011 up until maybe about 2018, I saw like that next 7 year. Wow, that's a 7-year cycle. I had a conversation with somebody about a 7-year cycle. But anyway, I saw some things within that time that I thought I would never see. But then when I saw some things in that time, I never thought I might ever see time again.
Wow.
And so when I think back to being on the other side where I was really green and it didn't have the expectation that I was going to see any adversity, and then get into the place where I've seen so much adversity where it was difficult to overcome it, to now in a place where I can't even care less about it because I've so superseded and so risen above that. Like, there's nothing that I know that can stop me now, because if it was going to stop me, it would have stopped me then.
Man, listen, and life gonna try to stop you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And because there's more battles to come.
Yes.
And I think what I take from going through the trial and tribulation of my life is not that I won some goal or I reached some milestone, because I didn't.
Yeah.
Life is a continuum.
Yeah.
And I think accepting the reality of life is our greatest defense against comfort, against complacency, is accepting the reality. And then once you accept the reality, you can dominate the reality.
Yes.
What we've done is build fairy tales.
Yes.
Especially in marriages.
Yes.
In relationships. We've built fairy tales. That's why the conversation is so prevalent around the internet about relationships, because we don't understand each other, because we're so different, and we've built these monuments around it.
Do you think that's the reason why our relationships are going the way that they're going? Because there's a fairy tale of what we believe relationships.
Because the Disney effect. I think it's done. I don't think we talk about. I think we've touched on it a few times. But the Disney effect, the fairy tale effect, the outcome effect, I think has crippled our a sense of what a relationship is. Like, a relationship is not business. It can be business, but a relationship, when you're dealing with a human to human, I'm talking about the human aspect of it. There's a certain nuance that comes along with it. Right. That it can't not be goal oriented. It has to be built for a continuum, for a ride. That's why people change in seasons. Everybody changes.
And go ahead.
What I mean is, I think the issue is we're changing too fast.
Yeah.
It used to be people would ponder on things and grow, but now I think time is sped up. The internet, information, we're being pumped with information 24/7. I open my Twitter, my X, like at 3:00 in the morning from up, just to open it up, and it's still pumping with information. So everything is moving fast. So if you're changing too fast, I don't recognize you in 3 years. Right. I don't recognize you. Yeah. So I think that's the conundrum behind the conversation that we have, that we're having about relationships and marriages and things of that nature, because we just don't understand or comprehend each other from that perspective, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And just touching a little bit on what you said about the Disney effect. One of the things I find very interesting, if you think about, in which we've all seen all those Disney movies, when, we've seen them, even though it's not, Cinderella was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But we've definitely seen the movies. Can you tell me any intrinsic value that they ever go over? Do they ever talk about the character? Do they ever talk about the character? Do they ever talk about the level of integrity?
Mm-mm.
They never talk about any of the intangibles. They only talk about the extrinsic value.
Yeah, they build a victim mentality.
He's a prince.
There's a victim,
dark,
absolutely.
All physical things.
Yes,
everything is a physical thing, and at some point in time, we're gonna have to get back to understanding. Just because we're humans doesn't mean that you have to make everything a human experience. And when it comes to relationships, we have to start to learn to understand what's inside of that being, not what that actual being is actually set up or look like today. Because if we took away the need for every physical thing, then what would your relationship be?
Yeah, that's true.
If all physical things was never like, a mansion, we got that. 7 cars, we got that. Any trip around the world, we can do that. Now, What's the conversation, or what is it that person, or she's beautiful and, nice shape and great conversation, great eyes. Okay, so all of those physical things, every single thing that you can think of physically is met. Now what do you have? What is it that you truly are looking for? And I believe that that's the conversation that we really got to start having. I believe that that's the place where we really have to start to get to, because until we get to that place, we're going to continue to keep having, not us having, but we're going to continue to keep hearing these things that are going on in relationships that seems to be things that don't even matter.
It don't, and I don't even necessarily think people need to change what they believe, men or women.
Absolutely not.
I think that we just have to adjust to our behaviors towards each other.
Yeah.
And the respectability that we have to have is here now. It's not going backwards.
Right.
And I think that's where we need to start moving our mind to a higher caliber of a conversation.
Right.
Because this is just like swimming sharks. This is just like a repetitive automation over and over and over again, lording your victimhood, lording who's most important, but who is most important? The infrastructure of what we're trying to build for the next generation is most important. Yeah. Our survival is most important. I think about that because the rise of artificial intelligence. Think about that. We're entering a time right now where Google and China are now experimenting now. It's called the race for AI. So now they're experimenting with that. The Google CEO was asked by 60 Minutes, this is verifiable. He was asked, are you putting a product AI out that you're not sure about? And the CEO, I think of Google, I don't know his name. You can go look it up. He wasn't sure. He was stuttering. They don't even know. It's called, the theory in AI, it's called the black box. And it's kind of the unknown, meaning that it's a part of this pursuit for artificial intelligence in its growth or its evolution. We don't know what it can do. For example, this is called hallucinating and an artificial intelligence in the intelligence community. They did a study. I think the Yardi, I think that's Gardy. I think that's the program for Google, the chat box, whatever it is. But they had a malfunction or something like that. They told the artificial intelligence, like, we need you to fix this. And it recommended 5 books. And it recommended the 5 books, but the books didn't even exist in our reality. They made it up. They made it up. They're starting to think autonomously. And they don't have answers for that. So we're arguing about who's the most valuable in a relationship with each other when there's an entity that can make up reality. They also talked about with the artificial intelligence that it can cause disruption in, like, making a video like this, like it's us, and it's really not us.
Yeah.
They're going to cause a disruption in that. He even said it. There's going to be a distrust in society because there's already videos out like that. They can already automate your voice like that. But the thing is, we haven't seen enough. That's what we do. And I'll give you another stat too, Ivan. If in 15 to 20 years, because of the repetitive automation jobs that we have now, blue collar and white collar, artificial intelligence will absorb 40% of the workforce. 40% of the workforce. That is agreed upon in the AI intelligence community. 40%, brother. Do you know what that's going to do?
I know what it's going to do.
Let me say this. This is why I want us to start raising our level of conversation, because if we keep getting stuck in the water, a whole society is happening. And I'm not saying we can stop it. I'm not delusional. I'm talking in real times. But what we can do is educate ourselves so we can be on the frontier. Now, although AI can be this scary thing, I see it as this. It gives us an opportunity to do our craft. It gives us an opportunity to do things that are productive and higher caliber in society. We can spend time on being humans and building relationships and learning the nuances of each other. Because think about the stock market and artificial intelligence. Think about that. Think about what it can predict, the predictor it can be, and how much money people can make. So there's a twofold to this thing. There's an unknown factor that does persist, with artificial intelligence that I will admit that like I said, they call it the black box. It's that portion of the technology that they don't quite understand. Do they have a soul? Do they have a conscience? But I do tend to believe this. There is a sanctuary to our soul that I believe is sacred that I don't think AI can disrupt, because there's a lot of technologies that we've seen that's come and that's not overridden humanity. But what I am saying, we need to be prepared, because it's going to be a part of our society and reshape how we do things. And if we're having the wrong conversations, we're not prepared. If we're always in discourse about who's the most important character in the relationship, when the relationship is defined and supposed to be working together, so we don't supposed to be working apart anyway, it doesn't matter. And if you want to do it from whatever your religion is, or from a biblical perspective, then go right ahead. But just be right in doing it, because these are the things that's happening. Wars happening, AI is happening, and then whose job's going to be affected by that? How are we going to fare? Here's the other side of it, Ivan. What if when poverty happens, chaos happens, yes. And when chaos happens, that create criminals. And then when you have criminals running, and then I don't even call them criminals. I'm just going to call them displaced people that want to eat. And before this generation goes into the Great Depression, buddy, they'll tear this mother up. Yeah. They will tear America down. Gen Z and Gen X will tear America down before they go into poverty.
Yeah.
I promise you that generation will. And that's the things that we're not recognizing. We're not, I think, again, raising our level of what type of conversation that we have in the society, because artificial intelligence has creeped and ingratiated itself in our society.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start off by saying that a portion of them, 40% of those jobs need to be taken by AI.
Yeah. That's good, Ivan. Yeah, that's good.
Some folks I'm quite tired of seeing.
I didn't know you was going to say.
And y'all know who I'm talking about. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm quite tired of seeing y'all. So as soon as y'all up out of there, then I can get my stuff fast and move right on with life, and not sit there and watch you do a text message while I'm trying to wait on my food. But anyway.
So, but stay there. But before you do that, there's another side to that, though.
Absolutely,
there's another side to that, and there's a responsibility to be great no matter where you're planted, and I get that. But there is also a disposition of hopelessness when you're working 8 hours a day and you barely can take care of yourself. Well, so there's a certain level of grace and an understanding that I have to give them, because when you're barely paying me above the living wage and I'm having to serve people, because people are rude too as well.
Absolutely.
It's twofold.
Absolutely.
You made me the nice one, but people look at McDonald's workers, they look down on them. They look at them as less than. That's what I'm saying. And they feel that all day. So when you're looked at as something and you standing there, it's not like they get to move, and then you absorb those behaviors. That's why we've become sloppy as the American public. So although I do agree with you that the automation needs to take that away, but I think in a way to where these people can flourish, or at least pay them properly.
Well,
but I understand what you're saying, but there's a twofold to that, though.
There is, but so I'll say this, because I've done those jobs before.
Absolutely.
Bojangles
my first job.
My second. Yeah. McDonald's was my first. Bojangles was my second. Yeah. And so this is what I'll say. I was nice to everybody that came through, even the people that was rude. See, excellence is not something that's learned. Excellence is something that just is.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches you to, do things as if you're going somewhere else. And sometimes I just want to speak directly to a demographic. Sometimes you're not doing it like you're trying to go somewhere else. So should you be paid more for doing something like you're not trying to go anywhere else? That's kind of how I look at it, because, and this is telling my age. I don't care. But when I first started at McDonald's, you made $4.25 an hour. That was minimum wage at the time.
But that was according to living too.
That was according to living. No. I get it. But what I'm saying, and I was a high school.
Yeah.
So I didn't need money at all. But what I'm saying is, that's what I did. But I knew that, man. First of all, if anybody even tried to attempt to pay me $4 an hour now, we're probably gonna fight.
Yeah.
Like if you better add 2 zeros. But like when you think about how dated that is, but I also knew at that time that was going to be just for that time. And so I don't know how much time you've been there. I don't know how much time you spent there. But if you're that frustrated and angry, have you attempted to find your passion?
Yeah.
Have you dug into another skill? And I get it. Sometimes life is happening, right? You may have teenage pregnancy. You may have a homestand that forces you into those situations. But I'm sorry, I just can't give the excuse. And the reason why is because I grew up in the projects. I started off in the projects.
But it's not an excuse, though. It's not an excuse.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is everybody's story is nuanced. Nobody's story is that. What I'm saying is, I don't think that's an excuse because we don't know everybody's experience.
No. I get what you're saying. You're saying that person could be doing it at excellence and having to deal
that's what
with,
I'm saying. You
deal with the people on the other side.
And what we see, and this is why we always are charged to give grace, because sometimes when you come across people in moments, you may catch them at a moment that they're not their highest self.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And you may misconstrue who they are. This is why it's important to keep posture in yourself. This is why we can only inevitably judge ourselves or give ourselves the discipline that deserve. That's why you always have to continue to work on yourself, because anytime, we say I'm not accepting that excuse for somebody else, then that is it's like we giving ourselves a petition to go into their lives and examine something that we was never the part of. Absolutely. So I don't think it's so much that it's excuses. I think when you hold your feet to the fire, accountability oozes off of you because it hits other people naturally by you holding the discipline. Like when you watching somebody work out all the time around you, eventually you're gonna either barbecue or mildew, my guy. Mm-hmm. It's gonna make you feel uncomfortable. If somebody making a lot of money around you and you just sitting down, it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable at some point. Mm-hmm. So, it's just what it is.
Yeah. Fruit is fruit, though.
It is, and I believe fruit is fruit. But that's why I say,
because just think about some of the moments when you wasn't your highest self.
Yeah.
Just think about some of the moments where you
I wasn't really producing, and you could say that I was not producing fruit in that season. I was planting seeds, but I was planting seeds. I will say that, and I think planting seeds look differently. And I think this is, sometimes our culture, as treacherous, ominous, as the culture is, sometimes we can't call our culture out. We have to call them up. Mm-hmm. I think acknowledgement and accountability. I think sometimes when we overcome situations, we see situations clearly at that point. Mm-hmm. But it was fuzzy for all of us. Now, that doesn't mean that we accept faulty behavior, because that's not the standard.
Right, absolutely.
I don't address, and here's what I'm trying to say. I don't address anything that's not the standard. So if it's not the standard, I'm not even address it. So if I'm below the standard, we're not talking. I'm not even giving myself. It's just get the work done. And people know what they need to do. Sometimes me going through this for this year, Ivan, taught me patience, and that I need to be patient with other people, not because God was patient with me.
Right.
Because, man, listen, depending on how hard life hits you,
right,
that's how much recovery time you'll need.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. But it doesn't mean what you're saying. It's not wrong in my opinion. I just think that looking at it from a different lens is what I was looking at.
Oh, absolutely.
From. But
I absolutely agree that the lens that you're talking about definitely exists.
Yeah.
Because again, in the situation in which he said it wasn't right. There's good people on both sides. There's good people on both sides, because I was one of the good people on the other side.
Absolutely.
That could have had a bad day.
Yeah.
The thing is I was going to make sure that I wasn't going to be there forever.
Yeah.
I was going to do the work. But one of the other things I wanted to say to, that 40%, Steve, I also don't think that corporate is paying attention.
No, they're not.
I don't think they're paying attention. Because the thing is if they can find a way, even if it costs them $200 million a year in payroll in order to have bots do what you do you think they wouldn't do that?
Yeah.
Because it's going to get done faster. They won't even have to overlook it anymore.
Yeah.
They won't even have to and see, that's the part I don't think people are paying attention to. And then this universal income.
So that we want to say, wait a minute. That was the next thing I was about to say.
Yeah.
This is going to lead us into socialism.
Yes.
So so I'm not talking about AI for just to have a, and we've been kind of touching on it, but I want to really, talk about it because I think it's going to lead us into socialism. You're seeing the way jobs are doing now. It's more of a remote environment. It's more of a hybrid environment. I think the pandemic was the precursor. It got us ready and comfortable. It got us ready to sit down for virtual reality.
Yeah.
We're about to go. That's why the Vision Pros, Apple have came out now. Think about it. Everything.
It's trash, man.
We're not gonna get it, but you know what? Trash.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it for myself. I mean, I've seen it being tested. I mean, obviously, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's going to be amazing. It's not something that I'm going to partake in, but I think it's definitely, absolutely going to probably be amazing.
Yeah.
It's way too much money that I'm willing to pay anyway.
Yeah, I think they've got us comfortable. I think we're comfortable. I think we're there now.
Yeah.
I think society.
Yeah.
I think we're becoming.
I don't know that we're comfortable yet, but I know. So it's going to be like the iPod.
Yeah. The pandemic sucked the life out of us. Yeah. I think we don't pay. I think because we're programmed to just continue to move forward, we don't realize the perpetual damage that the pandemic did. Mm-hmm. And when we had to sit in that house, and when all those things was like, it was a chaotic time. And we've never really had like group therapy as an Americans. Because we've so busy being divided to realize what the hell happened to us. Like thinking about that, a lot of people lost. There were some good things too. So I don't want to say that, but there was a lot of division that came out of that. There was a lot of
some great entrepreneurship. That came
absolutely, it was a lot that came out of that. But it was an explosion of energy that came out of that because we've never been in close quarters like that long. Yeah. So when we came out with entrepreneurship, bad habits, bad marriages. We came out with ideas, podcasts. We came out with think about it, a lot of stuff, talking like a lot of like, I got this, all these. We came out with a lot. And when you come out with a lot, whether it's good or bad, man, it has to be unpacked. And I think now we can't be desensitized to all the save the world tactics and our newfound individuality to where we miss what's going on around us, and understanding what type of system we're going to be up under, and how do we talk through it? How do we become at the top of the food chain in terms of getting our families back in line, in terms of using money the right way? If we can start at the starting line the right way, you know what I mean? Things of that nature. What do we become if we do get free time, right? Yeah. What do we become? Like it's not that easy to be free. Yeah. We want to get away from corporate America. Okay, then what do? How do you cultivate your dream? Will you keep doing it? What is your motivation? Mm-hmm. So all of those are permeating questions that I don't think that we answer when we talk about, you got to have this to be in a relationship with me, or I got this stipulation, or you got to look this way. And it's fine. Preference is cool. But what we can't do is spend our time on semantics. Yeah. Yeah. On things that ultimately doesn't matter, because when you meet somebody, Ivan, connection is what matters. Yeah, it doesn't matter about anything else.
When we start talking about the, I'm trying to think what year that movie came out. I think it came out like 2016, maybe 2011. Ready Player One. Yeah, and it seems so far-fetched, they walking around with these little VRs on, they playing video games all the time. He met somebody in the game that he had never met in real life and thought he fell in love with her. Yep. Wow. There was, if you remember that movie, there was drones that was doing deliveries already. And, hopefully if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. But Ready Player One, like when you see that, also I'll tell you another thing. They were living in like a trailer, but they were stacked. Yeah. And so, and it's also it blocked off the different sides of town very, very, it was very much segregated, kind of almost like Hunger Games.
Yeah. And so let's expand the conversation a little bit on socialism. And so let's do the outcome and the effects of that.
Yeah.
So here's another effect. Your freedoms that you in these podcasts that we're on right now, and the freedom of conversation that we're having right now will cease to exist, because he who has the goal makes the rules. And if I'm paying you universal income, I can stop paying you universal income.
I think I just was reading something, or just was being informed something a few days ago, that if you use certain verbiage or language, it was somewhere, it will automatically like ban you or block you or some way. I think even like when you're actually just speaking now, I can't remember. I can't remember specifically, but yeah, those things are actually already being ushered in. One of the things that a lot of people ain't talked about is Biden wanted to actually get us to a place where we actually have a social score, basically, meaning based on your level of integrity, based on your level of all of these other little things, all of these other nuances, instead of actually having a credit score, and based on how you're liked amongst your peers. And so,
because we're going social,
right?
That's what I'm saying.
So the freedoms, that freedom of just being a freedom of speech, or freedom of how you move and act and things like that, those things, yes,
because capitalism isn't working.
No.
Because you see what's happening to look how expensive everything is for the middle class. The middle class holds everything up. Think about it. People are frustrated. People are barely making it. Think about it, Ivan. The capitalism is falling, because socialism is going to usher itself in, because the people at the bottom, the people in the middle class, they're raising costs, they're outpricing people, and it's going to usher in. Think about it. It's going to usher in socialism.
What do you think? Why do you think capitalism isn't work? I think capitalism. Go ahead.
Capitalism within itself works.
Got you.
No. Within the purity of it. If you wasn't taking advantage of the game, if you played the game like it's supposed to be played, if the hard work was the component and the driver through capitalism, if I could just work hard and that was the component, if it wasn't nothing else but talent and what the job required, then capitalism, I say sign me up.
I get what you're saying.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up, but that's not what it is.
Yeah.
It's they play with, it's fishy.
They're moving the ball.
They move the ball. So and so that's what it is. I still participated in it. I still think there's a higher ceiling for capitalism. But what I'm saying is there's a possibility that socialism could usher itself in. And when it bursts, because you're not paying, because there used to be, I think giving people back their dignity. I think that's one thing that we gotta bend on, and we gotta be willing to put our economy up for grabs. Is really paying the citizens of this country what they deserve. All citizens. That you will eliminate, in my opinion, minimal. When people have money, they do not commit crimes like that. They don't think you have crimes. Don't get me wrong. It's not above that. I'm not saying they don't. But what I mean, the crimes of they don't. You rarely see public safety in jeopardy. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
So from that perspective, so. But that's the formula, I believe. And if everybody if you're not going to give reparations, give everybody a shot. Pay people at McDonald's a real wage, $40, $50 an hour. I bet you McDonald's will turn it into. I bet we'll have gourmet restaurants all the way around. I bet the type of food you serve and because how something is served to you does matter. Chick-fil-A, I'm still going through Chick-fil-A, partly because they're gonna say my pleasure. And it's just
They still say that to you?
Yeah, they do. I do. Some of them high school Gen Zers don't. They be cold out there. Boy, they be cold as a mud out there.
I hate Chick-fil-A's platform. But the way that they got these young kids out here running around.
But they pay them though. They pay them, and it's an infrastructure. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They give them it's a plan there, And I think you at least give them a plan. So even with QT pay their people well. They do well. They work well.
Man, QT is my favorite gas station to go inside.
Absolutely, man.
It is my favorite gas station to go inside.
Man, when I skip past gas stations and go to QT.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do.
Absolutely.
I like the QT. I like the way and everything's environment. Before we go, everything's environment and atmosphere. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to get us to see. You know, let's start focusing on better conversations, because AI, artificial intelligence, are around the corner, and it's going to have a massive effect on the way we live and the way we do. And a house divided itself can't stand. So if we're dividing families, so if our job, listen, if you're single, you just by yourself, they're picking you off. You're susceptible. You're easy. When you got a family, you got when two minds are gathered, when two or three are gathered in my name, so shall I be. That's not a religious text. That's a real text. That's energy text. When you have two energies, it creates something. We're having a conversation right now. We're creating a conversation. Right. I could talk to myself, but it might be wrapped in delusion. I might be thinking that I'm right about everything. Mm-hmm. I won't get your perspective if you're not here. So therefore, I can't see a way around the corner, and I'll be self-absorbed. Remember the word you use? Self-exaltation. Yeah. Thinking I'm more than what I'm really am. So, but yeah, man, you know, wrapping up, man, you know, just, you was gonna say something?
No, I mean, no, I was just gonna say, you was bringing it back to relationships already, so yeah. I really didn't have anything other than the fact that, because once freedoms are taken away, now where's your reservation? Where's your preservation?
That's what I'm saying. That's Ivan. You just went there. That's it. It's the component of the thing that you're gonna need when the world infrastructure that you hold so dearly falls. When it crumbles, are we gonna be in a position with our families? Because we got a fighting chance with our families. We can create memories with our families, because we don't know how this thing gonna go, and we're gonna need each other.
And we could be selfish enough to say, well, that ain't gonna affect me. I'll be gone by that time. But it might affect your children.
But you may not be gone.
You don't know. I mean, like the way technology is moving at this time. I mean, we were moving in 10-year cycles. Now we're moving in 5-year cycles.
Yes.
I mean, look at what NVIDIA has done over the last 5 years. Yeah. Look at what they've done over the last 2 months.
Absolutely.
So that's just letting you know where technology is going and where AI is going. I mean, the stock has increased 35% in 60 days.
That's crazy.
And so that's just letting you know how fast technology is moving. So we're moving in 5-year cycles. So you're right. I mean, we don't know the day nor the hour.
We don't. And that's what stick close to family, build relationships, build genuine relationships, man. Like, I don't think that, like, I think these conversations are mute to me sometimes, because I think when you genuinely connected to somebody, it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. I think all those stipulations are for people you don't like. Yeah. People are only busy for people when they don't like them. Right. Or they don't want to spend time with them. That's the fact. Mm-hmm. Man, me and Dunn always say this. Boy, people make time for what's important to them. Yeah. If something is important to you, Ivan, there's no such thing as busy. Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. So I think we just live, man, and be kind to each other and just build the right relationships. And I think when things do come, when AI does come, our eyes are open and we're watching and we're seeing how the world is changing, so we can be adaptable. I don't know how the adaptability will change, but when you're aware of something, you're more invested in it and you can see it coming. And then if there's a such thing as our people that during that time frame, in the next 15 to 20 years, Ivan, I would want us to be prepared for this. This is why I want to put this content here right now. Maybe it won't be for the day, but you know what it'll be for? It'll be for our great grandchildren. They'll hear this, the sound of my voice. I may be laying and bones may be gone, but my voice will echo in eternity. Your voice will echo in eternity, because you decided to talk about something, because it's inevitable it was coming. But we at least had the conversation about it. And the central message through all the turmoil that we go through, the tree, the root, is family. The branches, your family, your children, your cousins, your aunties, your uncle. J.B. Moulton, before we go, my granddaddy, J.B. Moulton, always taught us to stick close to your family, no matter what. Yeah. Stick close to your family. Yeah. It doesn't matter what happens with my family. I don't care. We take care of our family where we from. We don't do drama. We take care of our family. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's tough, you know. You go through things with your family. You fall out with family sometimes.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't like them, but you deal with them. And you know that God has connected you for a reason. And sometimes that reason is not the fulfillment of your desires. Sometimes the reasons that people come in your life is not the fulfillment of your desires, but also it could be the execution of your needs. Because you get what you need out of that. And sometimes when you get what you need, it doesn't always feel good. In fact, it's downright terrible. Yeah. But you come out better and you're stronger and you come out really unscathed because you learned the lesson. So, but nevertheless, man, stick close to family. I think that's the keynote tonight for me, is sticking close to family. And we don't have to agree on everything. This is not to say that men aren't what women say they are, what women say we are. And it's not to say that women aren't what men say they are. So we all might be right about each other. Then right. What? What if we're all right about each other? Yeah. What if we all are narcissists? What if we all gaslight each other? What if we all do? Then what we do next?
Right.
Like, ask the question.
What are we doing? Right. Because we got to circumvent that.
Yeah. What do we do next? How do we? What is the deductive reasoning behind that?
Right.
So we could be right about each other. Like, okay, then how do we function with each other now? Don't let them divide us. Yeah. We talk about the things that the elites are doing, but don't let them divide us in the political arena, in the spiritual arena, and in the financial arena. Don't let them divide us. Me and the white guy or the Mexican guy, the white woman or the Mexican woman have more in common than I do with Donald Trump or anybody in office. Yes. Or any of these fictitious people you see on TV. Yeah. We getting tricked out of our positions.
Happen to be real.
We getting tricked out of our positions. I ain't even going there. But we getting, but nevertheless, we live together.
Right.
And there is
because we have true day-to-day interaction.
Absolutely.
With one another. We don't have we're never going to have a day-to-day interaction with them. Again, it's almost as if what I said. Are they even real? Because they're not going to ever be real to us. Maybe some of the things that they say and do, but they're never the people that you just said that we're going to be in contact with. That's a fact. That's what really matters.
That's what's real. That is the real, and that's where and this is why we, as a nation, this is why we as a people got to wake up to see what's going on. Black, white, yellow, red, green, because there's a war going on outside that we ain't safe from. That hasn't hit America yet. There's something, and this is not spook talk or conspiracy theory talk. This is, come on, man. It don't matter if you're Christian. It don't matter if you're Buddhist. It don't matter what you are. It don't matter if you're black, white. Like, this is a real thing, man. Like, we are in the time of the unknown, the exposing time. Some of our social constructions are being broken down in front of our face. Things we believed for years are being castrated right in front of our face. Yeah. Deconstructed right in front of our face. You know, what do we do with that information? You just can't tell people to get over it. Right. You know, how do you move with that? Because how do we produce healthy people for the next generation? And we got our work cut out for us. Yeah. But it must start with the foundation, and that's family. And we cannot stop talking about family because it's the most important thing. And listen, guys, even me and you in our situation, it shows you that all families not linear. Right. There's blended families. There's divorced families. There's separated families. There's families nonetheless, though. And we must function at the highest level in all of those. That's why I said, let's raise the level of our conversation and be better to each other. That's my challenge in life. Yes. And that's a lot of people's challenges. A lot of people are going through divorce. A lot of people are going through separation. But don't let it make you bitter. Right. It has the ability to make you bitter when you go through these things, especially as a man. You feel like you fail. So I think that the mitigating factors here for me is to elevate the conversation, understand, center family, and say there's something coming that we don't quite understand. Hurricane coming, we understand it. Tornado coming, we understand it, right? But this is so hurricanes came in maybe 1843. They didn't understand that, the whole world is about to end. But we've got science and data on it. We don't know the science and data on artificial intelligence yet. We see ChatGPT. We just like, we need more evidence because we see stuff every day. They inundated us. You know what they're doing in China? They are there is an AI company in China. Is a race for AI. They are getting tens of millions of data bots. They have this machine of where they get you outside and they do facial recognition, body recognition, and they get all of these different. They're getting samples like gray suits and gray suits and gray suits. So whenever they see something, they can recognize it. They just do data. All they're doing over in China is collecting data. That's why I use TikTok is so good, because it collects data and real data. So, but just being aware of those things, not to dive back into all of that, but just being aware of those things and being cognizant of family. And I think that's the big thing for me, man. And sometimes, for me, I've learned in this process that family just looks different sometimes. Yeah. And I got what I needed. I wouldn't change a thing, Ivan. Mm-hmm. I would not change a thing. But, you guys subscribe with us, man. This is a great conversation, my guy. Yes, we want to keep building on this, man. I love I love being back in the game, man. Like an athlete we talked about earlier. I just love being back on the floor, love playing, just getting better one step at a time. And I think we're building something, man. It's late as a mother, but we tired. Tim, Tim, you didn't let us know when you get home, bro, because you about to fall asleep. But everybody subscribe at The Deep Surface on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. We're going to continue to keep growing. We're going to continue to grow at our pace, as we always talk about, man. But I think we're going to hit a stride. Absolutely. I think I'm in my season where, I can really work this thing. I don't think I've ever been healthy. It's your season. If you ever sing to me again.
For grace.
Don't say no. I'll take it though. Ivan.
This is your season.
Come on, Ivan.
To reap what I have sown.
Come on, Ivan. I'll take it. I'll take it, my guy.
It's the season.
I'll take it, my guy. Hey, something good got to happen in 2024, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, and might as well be here at the Deep Surface Experience. We out.